Hey guys, John here. I have Alex with me. I have Rossie with me. The gang's back again. Our Moon Knight crew is back, and I'm excited to have them both here and everything. And of course, this is our Moon Knight episode 5 review. We're one episode. Can you believe it? We're actually one episode away from finishing this thing off, and I'm so sad about that, to be honest with you. But let's go on ahead. Let's get started and enjoy the rest of the show. Oh, hey everyone. So basically,
Alex.
hey, I was doing my Night of the Roxbury impression. Okay, I was trying to do that. That's a story for another day. Welcome, guys. It's great to have you back on here again and everything too. I've been missing you, Rossie. I'm glad that you're okay with everything. I know you had some stuff that happened over the weeks and everything, so I'm so glad to have you back.
Happy to be back, guys. Thank you.
Very welcome. And I know that your other split personality, Alex, won't be joining us from last week, so we're good.
We're all clean.
Okay, good. So with that being said, guys, this is going to be episode 5 of the Asylum. This is the hippopotamus-headed woman who Grant identifies as the Egyptian goddess Taweret. Explains to Spector and Grant that they are dead and that the hospital is actually inside a boat sailing through the Duat. So I ended up predicting last week that I believed that he was on a ship. I was kind of right, but kind of wrong, because I was thinking of cargo ship. I was not even thinking of Egyptian ship. So
count it as a win. It was a ship. I was like, John was spot on.
Thanks. I'll take some credit for that. I will. But no, what I have to say is this. I really love this episode, especially how it opens up. It leaves us right where when I wind up seeing Taweret and everything. And I'm liking how she's going through the cards. And she goes, "Welcome to the afterlife. Well, traveler. Oh, there's 2 of you. Travelers." And I did not have this in the cards. And she throws the cards down and everything. I love that. This had This had humor at the very beginning, and then it touches on the serious tones within later on of this show, of this episode, which is something that I really liked how they did. They gave us some lightheartedness, and then they pumped us off with this darkness that's within the show itself. But what do you guys think, though?
Let's see. Meeting the hippopotamus, I love, like you said, that introduction. I died when she's just standing there, and the way that they're looking at her, and she's just so pleasant and just kind of hi. And so I'm thinking, okay, what's going on? Because I had to catch up with all the episodes today, so I got to watch them all today. Very funny to begin with, but when he's in the office with the doctor, who's actually Harold, I'm kind of like, what the hell's going on? Like, is he really in a mental hospital? Has he been, has this all been in his mind? So at that point, I'm absolutely curious, but yeah, I'll let Alex take it from there, because I want to really get into it. So I want to stop myself.
No problem. Oh, sorry. Oh my God. the other side of me is trying to come out. So like, no, it's my turn. But what's the hippo goddess's name? Taweret?
Taweret.
Okay.
Taweret. I loved her. She was so adorable. It just that once she looked really good. The CGI for her, like, I heard some people complaining about it, but I was like, I thought she looked really cool. And it was so adorable how her ears would like kind of flicker sometimes. And I was just like, I want a Taweret plushie now. There's so many plushies that the show made me want. I want a Steven plushie, and now I want a Taweret plushie. Right. But I thought that was a great way to start the episode off, because it, as we know, it gets into some serious issues and it gets pretty dark real fast. So it's like, nice little, here, let's butter you up a little bit, put a smile on your face, but right before we break your heart multiple times. So that was a great way to start the episode, at least for me.
Most definitely. And I do want to get into this whole entire thing with the Asylum, though, too. But the boat itself is really fascinating to me. You wind up seeing, of course, where basically you have Mark who winds up running out there. What are we going to see next? Are we going to see a bunch of, or is Mr. Crawley just going to come around? And what's going to happen? All of a sudden, you're thinking that he's going to go into the cafeteria where Crawley is actually playing bingo, but instead, he sees the scales. He sees that they're actually on a boat, that things are, and he's just as shocked as we are for the first time as well. But another thing I want to mention is this. When he's talking to Arthur, right? You can hear, I didn't pick up on this until like the 5th time of watching this, because I was watching this again today. Even though I think this might be my 100. Anyways, I picked up on this. The accent actually changes in this episode. So I'm thinking that that's Jake, because this has more of a New York accent to it.
And he was more violent, too.
He's more violent. And also, too, violent. He has that New York cab accent where he's just tired of everyone's BS and everything and just wanted to stab Arthur. But I didn't realize that until my 5th watch that this might be actually Jake coming out now. With that third personality that we thought they might actually hold back until the 5th episode, which they are, in a sense. But that's my theory. That's what I'm going off of because of the fact that it does make sense to me. But what about you?
Yeah, I was thinking like as soon as I heard him start talking and picking up the little glass pyramid thing, and I was like, that's kind of like a Brooklyn accent he's got going on. That's Jake's Brooklyn accent because his character in the comics. Jake Lockley is like a cabbie from New York. I think from Brooklyn specifically, but that
sounds like a Brooklyn accent.
there is Jake, and I like how this episode, the previous episode, and the one before that just give us like one little scene teasing that third personality, and then it just moves on. So I have a strong feeling we're gonna see him come fully out in the season finale. So that was really exciting to see. I love that part.
I'll have to pay attention to that because I totally missed that.
It's there. If you don't pay very close attention, you'll miss it because the first 2 times I saw it, I didn't realize it.
Right.
This time I wind up looking at it more closely. I'm like, that's Jake. That's got to be Jake. And that also explains why when Arthur is doing the weighing of the scales with him, why he said that the scales are pretty much agitated in a sense.
Okay.
And because he's more violent. So I was also thinking that was actually Mark's personality, but that was doing it to the scales. But now that I look back on it, it's Jake, and which actually makes more sense. But going into this, and then you go back and they're like, well, I like how she starts judging them based off what's in their hearts, where Taweret winds up judging them. And like she goes, well, this is unusual. I don't have cards for this either. And you guys have to go in the boat and basically confront their demons, which I really thought was really cool. This reminds me of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, where they're in hell and they have to go through different memories of stuff because they're in they're in that mess though too. So that's what it reminded me of. And so I like how they go into it and they're seeing different memories fly up. They wind up seeing where the changing of the stars. They wind up seeing some other stuff that they did, even the punching in the mirror and things like that too. When we from the first episode,
right?
And I thought that was actually pretty cool to play into that narrative. And then finally, you have to realize this too, that one of these characters actually has to go into a memory by themselves to confront something that they either number one don't know about, or they have something that the other one is protecting the other one from.
Right.
And that's what I feel like Stephen was doing for Mark, was protecting him. Even though it looked like Mark was trying to protect Stephen from not doing that and trying to stop him because he knows that was the most horrified thing in his memory warehouse. But, then you wind up seeing the 2 brothers. You wind up finding out, see you later, crocodile. You wind up seeing that phrase. You wind up seeing the 2 brothers, and then they go into this cave, and then the brother dies because of the tide coming in.
Right.
I mean, that brought tears to my eyes.
I cried throughout. I absolutely cried. Once it got serious, when they go and she pulls out their heart, they go back inside when they have to go and search, like kind of combine their memories, like tell each other what's going on, or else the scales are not going to balance. And so when you see, like you say, you get to look back in each room at certain scenes that we saw in the beginning of, the show, the season, but then, getting to see the brother, when they go into the cave. I at first thought, because I'm still trying to figure out the personality between Steve and Mark. So when I saw the scene with the little brother, I'm thinking, okay, was the little brother Steve, or, and then that's Mark, not really, understanding what we find out later. But to see that part where the brother ends up dying and Mark being responsible for him, and how the mom just couldn't forgive, just absolutely couldn't forgive this kid. And, you have Mark, who doesn't want Steven to know what really went on, doesn't want Steven to know where he came from, because from the beginning of the season, I always thought that Steven was the main personality. And just really quick side note, speaking of the dissociative personality identities disorder, I was reading that the producers, they went and talked to a lot of mental health specialists to research to make sure that they were very educated about it and that they weren't making fun of, so that we, they get it right. So I love to hear that they really were taking that, disorder seriously. But then finding out later on that it is a disorder. But I'm going back also to, he's in a mental hospital. Did he imagine all of this? Because, like last week we saw the wife there. We saw people from, early, the woman that worked in the museum with them. You see all of them. Yeah, exactly. So it's a total mind fuck, but it's sad to see what really happens.
Definitely.
Steven and Mark. Yeah.
Go on ahead, Alex.
Oh, I was just going to say, I also really want to give props to Oscar Isaac. Like, every episode this season, he's just been pulling double duty. Eventually he'll pull triple duty, but just his range of emotions in this episode, you going both from Steven to Mark, was just incredible, especially when Mark got really sensitive what was going on. I thought it was quite realistic on how he was responding to having to confront his trauma again. Like, that's why he was preventing Steven from seeing everything. And I also love that relationship between the two, how he always felt like he needed to protect Steven, because in a way he's protecting himself by protecting Steven. Like, that's the only, like, Steven is his safe space where he can avoid all the troubles of the world, and especially from like that was the darkest part of this whole episode for me. Is just how crazy the mom got on him.
Wow, yeah.
Blaming his little brother's death on him, and like to the point where she would beat him and all that. Like, it was like, oh, it makes sense that he would develop another person. Like I don't know exactly how it works, but that's believable to me.
I believe that you can go through so much trauma as a kid to where you go into your favorite superhero or someone that you look up to. And you use your imagination, and that winds up what becomes the reality of it, to where it can block off whatever trauma you have. That's just me thinking and doing a deep dive into it. I'm not a psychologist, but that's what I'm thinking. But, I had tears coming out of my eyes because of the fact that brought up some stuff from me.
Right.
And everything too. And stuff that I've been through in my life. Right. And, I've never seen a Disney show go through childhood trauma and going through the abuse of a mother, abusing their kid to the point where he's now developing split personalities and having that split personality be his reality now. And I like how they don't show us the actual abuse. Instead, it cuts over the camera pan angles to where you know the context of what's happening.
Right.
And I like how they do that. They handled that part very well. Give us context on what's going on.
Yeah, we don't need to see.
No.
But yeah, I was when she got the belt, I was like, please don't let them show us this boy getting his ass whooped. Please don't do that. So I like how it panned away, but it broke my heart because then you realize at that point, oh my gosh, this is what's been going on. And I love how his dad on every birthday, his dad would make an excuse for the mom. But as Mark is getting older, obviously he knows what's up. One scene I want to mention is when Steven realizes where he got his name from. The fake Indiana Busters, or, you know, the Indiana Jones, but, you know, and yeah, right. And he looks at, you know, the name on the poster and it hits him. And then you see the little boy, the mom's knocking on a door, and you see him split into the Steven personality. And the little boy starts doing that. Mind blown, because I'm like, oh my God, he's been doing that since he was a kid. Steven was there to, like you said, was actually to protect him from the horrible things that was going on in his life. But I thought that was that scene was just deep when you see the little boy do that.
Mm-hmm. I still have goosebumps right now from that scene just being described. Right. But another thing I want to mention is this, though. I mean, a mother that just goes ahead and blames her son for a mistake he made as a kid, and just her drink. There's issues with alcoholism in this show, though, too, because the mother's dealing with alcoholism. She's drinking. The father's the only one that's there to comfort him, try to be there for him.
But he's also enabling the mom, so you understand Mark's resentment towards his dad, because it's just like, why didn't you protect me at all? So then that's where I'm thinking the Jake Lockley, or this third more violent personality, comes from. Like, well, I need someone to be able to protect me too.
Protect me from the awful stuff, but also to make me tough to where I can actually take like, if someone wants to come at me, I'm not afraid to go ahead and bring someone down if I have to. Stand up for myself. So you actually have the Mark, who's the more confident one and knows how to smooth talk certain things, the mercenary. Then you also have Steven, who's actually the personality of just the geologist and stuff like that, the archaeologist, and history and stuff, and someone that's just fun to hang out with. Kind of like Drop Dead Fred. Then you also have, of course, the other personality, Jake, which is the more hostile one, the one that will take charge whenever something's happening to Mark. So now that we have that out of the way, I want to go on ahead and talk about after he winds up becoming a man and he has the Jewish hat on him. Yeah, and the yarmulke. And he winds up becoming a man now. He actually understands what's going on in his life, like Alex said. And then we wind up seeing the father telling him to come in the house. He goes, no. And at that point, he also does the split personality again. Where basically he's Steven. He picks up and everybody was confused with this. I wasn't, though. Steven winds up picking up the phone after Mark winds up dropping it. He goes, hey, Mom, how you doing? Everything's okay? After a while, crocodile. And I'm like, that's because I feel like that phone is also a security blanket for him. Because you're going to grab and latch onto the first thing that you see. So the first thing that he sees is the phone. So in his mind, he wants to be loved. He wants to be appreciated. He wants to be respected by his mom and wanting the love of his mother, but he can't. So he grabs onto the cell phone, pretending that he's talking to his mom. And I don't think he's talking to Layla anymore. I don't think he's talking to anyone. It's just a blank phone. He's just talking into now.
So the first episode that we saw in the season, I remember you mentioned that you don't think he's really talking to anyone on the phone because, with the mom. And now knowing what we know, seeing him not want to see his mother the way Mark sees his mom. Steven, she's a good mom. Why are you talking bad about her? Why are you saying this? And then when he switches over and takes the phone and he has this pretend conversation with her, it's sad because he still hasn't accepted the fact that in that scene, remember, mom's dead, you know, she's gone, but Steven still, you know, won't accept that. And also when they're in the doctor's office and the doctor's like, you know, Steven, let me call your mom. And when Steven finally realizes, no, she's dead. My mother's dead. I literally cried on that part too, because it was sad that he had to like face the fact that the conversations aren't real. She's dead. Like she's been dead. So yeah.
Another thing I want to bring up, I know that Alex wants to make a point to talk as well, but there's one more thing I want to mention. Before the kids go into the cave, there's actually a broken bird that actually looks like Khonshu. So in the back of my mind is like, is he fake too now? Is he not real?
Right.
What's the deal? You know, if this reality is not, if the reality that we're given is not real, then what is real? Because now we're actually questioning this. Is this real? Just like how Mark is questioning things now. So I liked how they played off of that. And I thought that was really smooth. Also, too, in episode 2, if you noticed in the room, there's actually a room filled with different artifacts. That's the same room that they're using for the Asylum.
Okay.
That's the same room. So I thought that was really unique. But anyways, that's just a little fun fact, a little Easter egg thing that I've discovered on my own. But anyways, I just want to have a little bit of nerdiness. But anyways, Alex, I'll let you talk. Sorry about that.
No, go ahead and nerd away. We all love it. The part that got me to tears was when Steven finally realized, okay, what's going on? Like, oh, I guess I'm not the real person here. I'm the creation. And instead of being like angry or upset about it, he's like comforting to Mark. You know, he's just like, hey, it wasn't your fault. You're just a child. Like, there's nothing you could have done. Like, you know, just real comforting. And that's where I started crying. It's just like, I love their relationship, even though he's suffering from a mental disorder. It's a very positive experience, like a positive relationship. The first positive relationship he's had with someone in his life, with himself, in a way. The Steven character, and that made me weep. and then towards the end, when the scales weren't able to balance, so what are they called? The dreads. The dreads were coming after him, and I loved it when Steven was like, wait, if Mark can fight like that, and so can I. And then he becomes,
you get that little bit of brawliness that we've been wanting, right?
Yeah,
because that's what I thought about.
He grabbed the baseball bat and he was just
right.
He pulled the Negan from Walking Dead.
Yeah, I'm like, there's Mr. Knight. That's the Mr. Knight we wanted. There he is.
Right.
And then I started crying again once he sacrificed himself to save Mark, and then became petrified, and then the scales were balanced. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I have a theory on that in a minute. I have two theories.
See then.
I was sad about that too. When I saw him fall over, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's gone. And for some reason I'm thinking that Mark's gonna go after him and be able to get him. And when I realized the sand ship is leaving, and then you see him start to turn into stone petrified. Mm-hmm. It broke my heart because I didn't want Steven to be gone. And I'm like, he's gone now. That was really sad. Really sad.
It was. I mean, because I thought that he would actually have a chance to get back on the boat.
Yeah.
And no, that doesn't even. I was hoping for like an anchor that would actually anchor.
Right.
I saw too much Pirates of the Caribbean, but
something.
But you know, but here's the thing, though. Everybody's like, well, I was thinking that he was going to merge into one. I didn't see that coming, to be honest with you, because that's not the context of the show. It's about split personality disorders. Right. It would actually, to be honest with you, it would be too much paint by the numbers if they went on ahead and just merged them into one.
Right.
One person, especially when you're dealing with 3 split personalities. So that wouldn't make sense. So my theory is this. Steven is gone forever. And because now he doesn't need that security blanket anymore because of the fact that he actually confronted his demons. Mark confronted his demons. So therefore now you only have 2 personalities now.
Right.
Or there's another theory I have. The other theory is because of the fact that it wasn't a judgment based off the scales, it was a sacrifice to help the other personality. That tells me that there's going to be a thing amongst the gods probably where they have to debate if this other personality is going to stay with Mark or not.
Okay.
But that's my theory. Because we already seen in this show about how gods deal with certain things in the supernatural realm. So my thing is this: what if the scales are not balanced in the way that it needs to be balanced in, and somebody does sacrifice themselves to help save someone? So my thing is this: that tells me that he's still going to be around.
Okay.
Well, so those are my 2 theories. What do you guys think?
I hope you're right. I hope that would happen because seeing the panel of the gods was it episode 3, I think. Yeah, when they show all the gods. Remember the really nice one that kind of helped Mark out the woman. Hopefully that will happen. Hopefully because he did sacrifice. Hopefully he would be able to still be with Mark, as a personality. I hope that would happen. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that I have a feeling that, remember in the previous episode how they showed that 3rd sarcophagus shaking around? I'm thinking what's going to happen is Mark is going to open it thinking that Steven's in there, and then that's going to release that 3rd personality. So he's going to have issues with that, but then and he's going to start feeling himself like the 3rd personality, whether it be Jake. Hopefully it's Jake. I want it to be Jake so bad, but who knows?
Right.
You were right about something though on last week's episode, by the way. But we'll get to that in a minute though too.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully, but like it's the 3rd personality starts off by helping, but then he starts kind of gaining more control over Mark. So he's just more and more aggressive and violent. And I have a feeling Steven is going to come back somehow. It's like the light, like, no, mate, we got to pull back. We got to pull back a bit.
It'll be funny if you see him with like the airplane directors. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Jake,
the little,
we get back for them.
Pull back. Chill out, homie.
But you know how you were talking about Bushmen last season? Not last season. This is the first season, but last week's episode and everything. We wind up finally seeing some flashbacks to when Mark was a mercenary and where he makes that deal with Khonshu on the verge of blowing his brains out. And Khonshu goes, "You will be my Moon Knight." Next thing you know, you see the transforming. I thought the transformation was awesome. I love that.
Cool.
Absolutely. Right.
But now we have context into Bushmen about how scary Bushmen can be. So my thing, Alex, is this: what did you think about seeing that little small nugget that you mentioned on the show?
I was just like, yeah, they're gonna have Bushman. I hope they don't introduce him just yet. Like, I would let them deal with the Amet in this season, but next season let it be all. I feel like next season is going to be about Mark trying to redeem himself in the eyes of Layla, and it's like, here, I'll help you get justice on the dude who killed your father. Because I know Bushman is like the Moon Knight villain, so I feel like it would make sense for him to be that to be the direction, less on the mystical and more on the brutality side of Moon Knight.
What about you, Rossie? What did you think of the Bushman scenario that they threw at us?
I don't want to really speak on it because I can't really remember too much about it. So, okay.
It's fine. But still, there's also another thing though too. Luke asked me a question, so I'm going to answer it. Don't worry, Alex. I saw your eyes. We're not live, but he did ask me a question before we did our show. So he asked, "Do I think that Khonshu will choose Layla?" And my answer is, I'm going to say no.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think that he still wants to have Mark right now.
Okay.
Even if he does take over Layla, it's going to be temporary, so that way he can get to Mark. His go-to is Mark, because that's the deal that he made with Mark. He didn't make that deal with Layla. It'd be different if something happened to Mark, or if they had their issues and now he has to go over to Layla now and make her his Moon Knight. So the deal he made was with Mark specifically. So I'm going to go on ahead and say no, that Layla is not going to be the next Moon Knight. I'm still saying that it's going to be Mark and it's going to be Jake. That's going to be the Moon Knight. And that's going to be a dangerous combination when you mix the two together. But that's just my thoughts.
I was kind of thinking that, as much as I would love to see Layla as Moon Knight, I think Khonshu's going to stick with Mark. And I know how they're doing Khonshu right now is like kind of like a manipulative god. And so sorry, I heard a noise behind me. And it's just my dog snoring. He's sleeping over here. I'm like, there's a ghost in my house right now. It's just my dog. Anyway, I kind of get the feeling that Khonshu isn't like, he is manipulating Mark, but I feel like he's also very similar to Mark, just and just how he, like, kind of like how Mark is manipulated Layla in a way, Khonshu is doing the same to Mark. And I think Khonshu is really attached to Mark. Like, he sees himself, Mark is broken like Khonshu is in a way. He feels driven. He's hated by his family too, like his Egyptian god family. So he feels like an outcast and he needs somebody to connect with, and that's Mark. So hopefully this next episode we see a little bit of Khonshu becoming a more redeemable character, because as of right now you're just like, what a jerk. But hopefully
I think he might choose Layla, dude. I think he might. I maybe temporarily, but I think he might choose her for a short period of time, just to I don't know, maybe prove something to Mark, kind of, because he's been mentioning that, I can get Layla if you don't do this. So I've been having a feeling that Layla may be a Moon Knight, but maybe for a short period of time.
Okay. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind seeing her like that, because they did develop her into a character.
Absolutely, that'd be so cool. Yeah. And
also, too, I just want to mention this. There's actually no confirmation right now that there's going to be a second season for Moon Knight. This is actually a limited series. So unless they decide to just go ahead and announce the fact that he's either going to go ahead and show up in another Marvel property or something like that. But I also want to mention one last thing before we close out. This. If you notice at the end of the episode, basically you see Mark on the ship. You see the color scheme. That's actually the same color scheme as in Black Panther. That was used in Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because that's actually the afterlife. And I think, and here's another thing though too, this is just a theory, but I'm thinking that each person experiences the afterlife differently depending on your culture. So for T'Challa's culture, he got to see his family, he got to see everybody underneath that tree in Africa and stuff like that, and have that being united. And this one, it takes place in Egypt. So you're going to see sand, you're going to see a bunch of other things. So I think it's based off interpretation of where you're from and what you worship, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So with that being said, guys, that's going to be it for our show. Alex, where can everybody follow you at if they want to go ahead and follow you?
Well, you guys can also find me on YouTube at A-Town Reviews. And you could also find me on Twitter or Instagram at ATownAlex3 and look at pictures of me in my crop top. Those will be going on sale soon. So
those are going to be on sale for $5.95 plus shipping and handling.
$5.95. Yeah, so be prepared for that. Get your wallets out. They're going to go fast. But yeah, that's it. Looking forward to talking with you.
We love talking to you too. But anyways, Rossie, where can everybody follow you at?
You can follow me on Twitter at RossieLynn-Bark1. RossieLynnBarq1, or at Instagram or on Instagram at McCree123hotmail.com. And in my Facebook page at Rossie Lynn. Sorry.
Okay, awesome. So, guys, if you want to, you can catch me in my Manscaped boxers. I'm going to be selling that with a centerfold. Mine's going to be a centerfold piece.
Ooh.
Let me get
You can catch that. That's going to be $10.95. And it's going to be on my OnlyFans page called John at Manscaped 85. So that's where you can go ahead and do that. I'm just kidding, guys. You guys can follow me underneath Movie Lovers, TV Lovers Unite on Facebook, underneath the same brand name on Instagram and on Pinterest as well. Go ahead and get yourself an audio-only podcast of our episode and mini episodes that we do here and on all major platforms. Of course, go over to Good Pods, rate individual episodes. Tell me what you think about those individual episodes. And give us a 5-star review. And also, too, go ahead, rate us over on Apple Podcasts and, of course, on Spotify as well. That is actually giving us a chance for other audiences to find us and rank us and stuff like that. So that will actually help us out big time. If you want to, we understand the pandemic actually put holes in people's pockets this year, but if you choose to do so, go ahead, donate $5 to $10 to us. How do you do that? I'm glad you guys asked. All you guys have to do is go over to buyusacoffee.com/movie lovers, and that's how you can donate $5 to $10 over here. But smashing that like button, smashing that comment, and also too commenting below also helps us out. And also too smashing that bell on the bottom right hand corner, and of course selecting all notifications, not personalized notifications when you hit that bell. Because I've been noticing some people like, hey, I've been smashing that bell, but I'm not getting any notifications. That's because you hit the personalized button. You want to hit the all button. That's what you want to do. So, like Allstate, you're in good hands. So then, of course, you're going to go on ahead, go over to TikTok, and follow me underneath Movie Lovers Unit 0 there. And then, of course, on Movie Lovers Unit on Twitter. And then if you're a sponsor and would like to be on the show, just reach out to me at movieloversunite@gmail.com. And that's everywhere you can follow me. I thank so much, Rossie. Thank you again, Alex, for joining me and everything. Of course, this is our Moon Knight crew. I'm going to check and see if Ryan will be able to join us next week to finish this off as a season bang for this finale. So
excited.
Me too. I'm excited as well. And always until next time, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. Stay safe. And always until next time,